confidence that, this is definitely a scam and I'm not really gonna, obviously because you're looking for a job, you kind of want it to not be a scam.
If the wisdom of our forefathers has taught us anything, it's that if something is too good to be true, it probably is. Bearing this in mind, let's talk about job scams. In this video, we're going to talk about what job scams are, how to identify a job scam, and what conversations with scammers look like. We're going to look at an example of a scammer posing as a famous Chinese oil and gas company looking to start their operations in Cameroon.
From what I recall, the job was actually advertised on a fairly reasonable job board, not yeah, but it was advertised on one of the solid ones, it was advertised somewhere that you wouldn't expect an outright sort of scam. And so I saw the job, and it was basically for a data analyst. There wasn't a lot of description on the exact specifics of the job. There were some descriptions about how you would go about it, but nothing too specific. But yeah, I wrote a bit of a cover letter and stuff, outlining things, and that was that. And obviously, when you're looking for work, you have a lot of places that you're applying to and sending things to and doing whatever. So you send it and then you move on. Quite some time later, I received an email back from them saying, you've been shortlisted for this position. We will not do an in-person or phone interview, but we will ask you some questions within this email itself, and your answers to those questions will be considered to be an interview of sorts. And again, it was with and this Chinese company, and generally things with China and stuff relating to the internet can be a bit strange. They come off a bit weird and they're formatted a bit differently to what you expect, and the language is a bit different, which it was in this particular email. So it seemed fairly believable. Of course, I looked through the questions and stuff, and at the same time I had a personal issue, so I wasn't able to respond to the email properly or as swiftly as I wanted. So I basically received this email when I was traveling, and anyway, so on my phone I see this email that's come, and I do my best to sort of within my phone respond to their questions and stuff. And they were again reasonable questions, relating to work, trying to ascertain your general sort of qualities, and a couple of questions, nothing too in-depth or serious like machine learning type stuff or anything of that sort. And yeah, I had all these questions, and so I did my best to answer these questions. And like I said, some of them were related to the work as well. Some of them were more generally related to work. Yeah, when I also applied, I also asked for could you tell me more specifically what it is that you're expecting, or what the actual responsibilities are of the work, more day to day, more specifically. And they did in fact elaborate on that in the second email that they sent, where they said, you've been shortlisted for this, email interview and whatever. So yeah, I filled out the answers as best as I could. And then, yeah, I started, looking into it further. And then, finally, the last thing that I did, when I was pretty confident that, this is definitely a scam and I'm not really gonna, obviously because you're looking for a job, you kind of want it to not be a scam. No, I didn't speak to anyone on the phone, so this is what I was going to do. I was going to call the lodge and try and get in touch, and then I also went on the website, and I was trying to Google and stuff, if this scam exists. And I did see some other scams relating to tech, but nothing to this particular one. Because, they have like boards and stuff where people post about scams that they've gone through. Actually, which reminds me, maybe I should have posted on there, so that people knew. But anyways, so yeah, I didn't see any mention of this particular scam there. The final check was, I was just scrolling through the email again. I was pretty sure by this point that this is a scam. I'm not going to really pursue it. At the most, I could call and maybe find out. And then I go to the email address, and boom, there it was. It was just like a non-company affiliated email. And then I was pretty sure. I was like, okay, well, this is a waste of time. So yeah, I mean, it was disappointing, but like I said, it's after the initial sort of hit off, the excitement kind of faded, and you slowly but surely are getting more and more sure that this is a scam. And yeah, then of course you feel very stupid. But like I said, I mean, the way maybe had I just been at home and working through things normally, I would have caught on to this a lot quicker. But like I said, I was traveling and I was on the go and I was going through some personal stuff. So
Identifying a scammer. Don't be surprised if they come to you on the most desperate or painful day of your professional life. They'll be very hard to distinguish because they come across as legitimate companies with legitimate documentation and even websites. Thank you for watching this video. If you've liked it, hit the subscribe button for more content. And remember, it's not just business, it's personal.